ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Gretchen Peterson. Before we get to Liberty Hill volleyball, Butch Hart and I talk a lot during the volleyball season, and he was mentioning about some Round Top-Carmine team that beat Windthorst 2 years in a row after Windthorst had won 5 consecutive state championships. You remember that?
I do. And we should have probably beat him 3 times, but there was a little like snafu at the scores table and a weird, back in the day when you only played to 15 and you had to serve to, dinosaur ages. So we actually played him 3 years in a row, and we played them in the finals my sophomore year. And but we got him the next 2. So I guess it's all traded off okay.
We've talked a lot over the years about how being a player at state, has kind of helped you identify with the kids and make them understand about going to state. And of course, you've been to state 3 times. Okay. So talk about one more time your experience as a player and how that's lingered into your coaching as you deal with players, especially since it's been a couple years since that state tournaments, those state tournaments.
I think the one thing, and we were actually just like finishing up our practice and kind of doing our talk. The one thing that as I've gotten older and I'm further and further removed from those days as a player, it just gives you a totally different perspective that you aren't able to really grasp when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, and really even in college. And really, I think as a brand new coach, like you just have a different perspective, right? So we go through the seasons, but we also go through the seasons of life and like how those are different. And I think the one thing about being older is that I now realize like volleyball's not forever, right? But it's those moments, it's those memories, it's those experiences, and the lessons that you just learn. Those have been the things that have stuck with me. So those life lessons, how to overcome adversity, how to be a part of a team. Man, that is such a blessing to have learned that in life. And I think, we were just talking about how it's very easy to pick up when these girls go to college they're going to know right away, okay, that person never played sports. That person was never part of a team, because there's just something about it. Athletes get athletes. They understand it, right? And there's a vibe and a mentality, and just it's such a lesson about how to work together and how to have your ups and downs together. And I just, now being older, the perspective is different. I cherish all of those memories, but I now appreciate them, I think, a little bit more, because I see how valuable they are, and I see how many kids don't get the opportunities to have those lessons about, it doesn't always go your way, and you're going to have to work with people you don't like, and this is life, right? And it's how do you kind of go through and navigate that. And I appreciate that I was in an opportunity as a kid, as a college athlete, and as a coach to get to go through that. Has been a blessing in my life, and we get to play. And that's what I got to remind them. You can have the have to attitude or the get to attitude, and we get to play. There's a lot of teams that will not ever get to experience playoffs, and it makes me so sad, because I think every athlete should get to have that opportunity. And some of these girls have experienced it every year they've been in high school. Mm-hmm. What a blessing, right? And so we have to have a get to attitude more than a have to.
Expectations for that team, for Round Top-Carmine, especially with Tanya coaching, was, we're looking to qualify for state every year. Expectation for this program, especially since I've been part of it in 2007, is we expect to go far in the playoffs, if not get the state. You talked about the fact that you've been in the playoffs so many times, and, that's kind of what the program's expectations are. That's great. And that reflects you.
Well, I think we're able to set those expectations because our kids are willing to go after them, right? You can set expectations and set the bar wherever you want it all day long. If you don't have people that are willing to go after it, then those are just there, right? And there's a lot of coaches that are really good coaches and are just amazing at what they do, that are able to set those expectations, and it just doesn't ever come to fruition. And it's not a reflection on that they're not good coaches. You got to have the right kind of kids. And we've been really lucky in Liberty Hill to have the right kids in every sport, which is why there is a culture of that expectation here. From cross country, I think they've been to state more than any program here in Liberty Hill. Basketball, football, everything. I think we have the right kind of kids. They like it. They like winning. They like being able to make those runs in the playoffs and go to the post district and push into the postseason. And we've grown and we've changed, but our expectations haven't. We've just had to kind of look at them from a different perspective, or how do we get there in a different way.
This is a coach who got Liberty Hill their first ever uh, not co-champion, but district champion, outright district championship back in 2009. So the program has been phenomenal. Okay, moving forward, this year, we got to play this year. We got to play a regular schedule this year. So you got to see the girls. Unfortunately, though, injuries have really played a part.
Right. And I mean, unfortunately, that's part of sport. You step out on the court and you go and you play, and that's all you can do. And those happen. And you hate it when it happens to any kid. But it's a special other little heart tug when it's a senior and it's a kid that is just really committed to the sport in the way that Emma is. And the good news is, if, she was going to tear it up, she tore it up in the best way possible, and it was an easy fix. And, she's going to be fine. She's going to be able to, get on the court during club, and she's going to be able to be good to go for college. And as a young woman growing up, like, she's going to be fine. Like, she's going to not have issues as an adult when she's playing with her kids and all of those things. So, I mean, you hate it. It's not how anybody wrote it. It's not how anybody would want it. But she is going to be okay, and that's the most important thing. And I'm really proud of the way that the kids have responded, and also herself. She's turned into such a little kind of assistant coach, and she's bought into that role. And she's still so much a part of our team because of the feedback that she gives to her teammates. And my heart breaks for her, but I'm proud of her for the way she's handling it, and for the way that the team is responding around her as well, and giving opportunities for a lot of people to step up and come through big in ways that we didn't anticipate, but they're definitely doing a great job there.
Cedar Park, Friday, playing for the number 2 and number 3 seed. I asked the girls the difference between the first match and second match, and Haley, of course, I'm not surprised, just outright said, we didn't take it as hard as we should have. I mean, that's the nice way to put it. She could tell she was really upset about the way they handled things. Let's talk about this match and what it means. And a lot of teams are looking for a warm-up match. You got a great warm-up match. You got something that actually means something.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the playoffs. We know that. So there's nothing – we have everything to gain, right? So we made too many errors. We came out and played great in the first set, and then we kind of just flattened off. And we can't do that. Not against any team. Not against Cedar Park. Not in the playoffs. Like, it's just not – that you just can't do it. And so we have to take care of our side of the court. We got to take care of our side of the net. Can't make errors. We got to build runs. We have to just play our ball. Yes, it's Cedar Park, but at the end of the day, we control those things. The things that I feel like really took us out of the game were on us, and that's a good thing, because those are things that we can actually fix. I can't control anything that Cedar Park is going to do, right? But we can control how we respond to serve receive, and how do we respond to errors, and how do we fix a block, or how do we get to the tip, or whatever it is. We have control of that, which is a good thing, because those are things that we can be aware of and we can take ownership of and we can fix.
And finally, let's talk about your season overall. First and foremost, we got a season in. We got the tournaments. We got, regular season. And, we talked about the injuries. But just talk about the season overall, how much you think the girls have progressed and where they are right now going into Friday's match against Cedar Park.
I mean, I think we have just a really great group. We have a lot of seniors who are very much committed to the sport, and then we have a lot of seniors that understand, like, this is my last season. And so it's a good balance, because you have those that are like, this is what I'm doing, I'm getting ready for college, and then you have those that are just like, they're just positive, and they're just bringing that energy, and they're like playing their hearts out. And you need that. You need both of those things, right? You need to have those players that can play kind of that notch above, but then you also need those players that are like, I'm going to go all out, pretty ugly, it doesn't matter. And it's good to have that, right? And I'm really proud of both groups, both types of players, because you do need that balance. So it's been a fun group. There's been a lot of success, a lot of growth, individually and as a team. And again, we get to be in the playoffs. We get to keep playing. There's a lot of teams that would love to be in the situation that we're in. We have to go out and take care of business and honor that opportunity by playing our hardest and doing our best job.